Going for boost. Well, I think going for boost, if you're a boost merchant, like someone like AJ or someone, you go for boost.
100% of the time.
Yes.
Always, every second of every game. Ball's going in your net, don't worry about it. Go get the boost and make sure you've got the full 100 to celebrate with the other team.
Oh God. Never. Yeah, never. Always go for ball.
Yeah.
Number one rule of Rocket League.
Welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, where three aggressively average Rocket League players talk about everything RLCS with your hosts, Ace, Code Red Jack, Kyle Cube, and AJ Binky. So, if you've ever wondered when the best time to go for Boost Over Ball is, you've come to the right place.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, welcome to our show. Thank you for coming back. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm here today with Ace and AJ. How's it going, guys?
Going pretty good. Happy to be back. Took that week off because I had, life.
Yeah.
But I'm back.
Yeah. Well, we're back into it with Worlds starting up, and we will be talking today about the World's Wildcard Draft that happened, and our general thoughts and predictions for the Wildcard round that will be taking place this weekend. So, without further ado, I will go down the line, and we will talk about the teams that are in Wildcard, like that have technically made it to the World Championships. Complexity, G2, Moist Esports, Pioneers, Crew, Space Station Gaming, Power, Elevate, Team Falcons, Oxygen, Team Secret, G1, Twisted Minds, Gaming Gladiators, Limitless, and Valiant. So, with those teams, I read them in seeding order of the wildcard round, and the way that they drew the first round matchups for the wildcard is they did a draft. So the top 8 seeded teams from wildcard got to pick which of the lower 8 seeded teams that they got to face off first, starting with Complexity and working their way all the way down to Elevate, who didn't get a choice in who they get to face. They just kind of were stuck with the last team. So our first round matchups, we have Complexity and Valiant from SSA. We have G2 playing Limitless from SSA. We have Moist Esports picking Gaming Gladiators. Pioneers drafting Twisted Minds from MENA. Crew taking G1. Space Station taking Team Secret. Power grabbing Team like Oxygen Esports. And Elevate getting paired up with Team Falcons. What did you guys think about how they drew the teams for round 1, and how do you feel about the Swiss bracket making a reappearance in a LAN event for Rocket League?
I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing that it's a strategy that's going on, right? You have some of these heaviest hitters in this wild card picking some of the, lower end that have made it. And that makes perfect sense to me. Like strategically, yeah, get your easy wins when you can. As far as the return to Swiss, I'm here for it. I love Swiss. I love the Swiss format. I think it's very fun, and it's really good for the spectators. Although I will say, over the course of this last season, whatever the other format's called grew on me. It's also pretty good, but I prefer Swiss.
Okay. AJ, what about you? How do you feel about Swiss, and what do you think about the draft?
I like Swiss a lot. I didn't really take a close look at what the first round matchups are going to be, but I am excited to see Twisted Minds play. I don't think I've seen them play yet, so really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, I know like Sunless Khan made the Sandrock Gaming documentary, and Sandrock Gaming became Team Falcons, but Twisted Minds features Senzo, a former player of Sandrock Gaming. And they've looked pretty good. They won a regional, so I too will be interested in seeing what they can muster. But on the subject of seeing what teams are made of, we have Limitless and Valiant, 2 teams from Sub-Saharan Africa. They make their their world stage debut, and both of those teams going first in the draft, right? So Complexity taking the number 2 ranked SSA team, and G2 taking the number 1 ranked SSA team. Do you think that says something about what the other teams think about them, or do you think it's just, since they're a newer region, they think it might be, maybe a little bit easier of a matchup?
I
I'd
think it's
say
probably
that
because
you,
it's a newer region.
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree. I think that what we're seeing here is they don't have the same opinion or same fear of the SSA region as they would against EU, right? Because the only rule was that when they were drafted, they couldn't draft opponents from the same region. So they could have picked Oxygen and G1, but they went with SSA. It's a new region. It's untested. It makes perfect sense to assume that they would not be as dangerous in, when it matters, right? We'll see, because I think Rule 1 threw that out the door at the last major, where you can have these not well-known regions, or these regions that aren't known to be in the top, change everything.
I wouldn't say not well known. I'd say minor regions.
Yeah, well, I mean, remember Lunar, and then we're gonna take a vacation there just for a quick split. Farm the region.
Yeah, exactly.
Toxic.
Oh, yeah, I don't fully understand that one still, but here we are. With this Worlds coming up, we have a little bit of a different format than how we have in previous World Championships, where we have our wild card, right? It's the bottom 16 teams competing in a Swiss for the opportunity to make group stage. So of the 16 teams that we've talked about, there will be 8 teams moving on into the group stage, which is the top 16 teams. And that's win twice and move on to the playoffs, which is a 8-team single elimination playoff for the World Championship. So it's going to be a lot of Rocket League. There's a lot of matches. They've talked about it a little bit on the Chalked cast, like Rizzo and Johnny Boy and CJ and Rise and them. We're talking about how hard it would be for a team from the wild card to make the run and finish top 4 after have gone through an entire Swiss bracket before even making to the main event. What do you think about that? Do you think any of the teams here in Swiss have a chance at making a deep run? Ace, what do you think?
Got it. I think. Can you repeat the question? I lost it. My brain just reset there. All right.
On the Chalkcast, they talked about how it would be very difficult to work to win your way through a Swiss format and then make a deep run in the rest of the tournament, just because it's so much more Rocket League, right? So you could potentially have played 5 more matches than your opponents coming into the main event. Do you think any of these teams in the Swiss have the ability to make a deep run in the tournament?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, I think that, as I mentioned before, I think Rule 1 really set the pace for these minor regions as far as, they have so much more to gain than most of these other teams. So every single win, every single game, every single ball touch, honestly, is a step forward for them. It's not something that's ever been done before, things like that. So absolutely. I think if one of these lesser known regions, these minor regions, make it out of Swiss, I could see them making some sort of deep run. Maybe maybe not to the same extent that Rule 1 did, because I don't know. I think that was a special moment. But I'm all here for it to not be a special moment and be a change in the meta overall. But I don't know. I think that it's possible. For sure it's possible. Do I think any of these teams specifically? Maybe one of the same teams. I know they're not exactly a minor region, but they haven't been. They've been overshadowed by Mina this season, and I think that they may surprise us in this tournament.
Okay, I think that's fair.
What about you? What do you think?
I mean, I think you could see Moist doing very well. I think you could see, the experience of G2, kind of having been there, done that, right? They're the reigning second place champion from Worlds of last year. So like they know what they have to do to make it to a grand finals. They've won things before. I think you could see them potentially, having themselves a good tournament. But I think really the dark horse of the tournament for me is complexity, right? It's like, are you going to see the complexity that won a regional in NA, or are you going to see, the complexity that kind of flamed out, earlier than would have been expected from them going in, right? So like
Yeah, absolutely.
in Boston we see complexity, not even making or like, beating Team Liquid, losing to Vitality, and then not being able to make it out into the quarterfinals as they're taken down by Rule 1 pretty convincingly. But, we talk about like the AJG open net miss, like how different their tournament could have been. So, certainly, one or two poorly timed mistakes really cost them against like Vitality especially. But, they're a team that I think could throw a wrench in the works, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at the wild card, we know 8 teams are going to come out of this, and there are some teams that's like, I think it's a very safe bet to say they're going to get out of this. I think that if we're going to talk about all wild card teams, all of these wild card teams, and any of them being able to make it deep, I think you're right. I think complexity is a good one to look at for that. I would say Oxygen. Oxygen has that same kind of complexity vibe. Which Oxygen are we going to see? Because sometimes they go on these miracle runs that are just phenomenal. Or SSG, sometimes they also are in that, they're in their flow state. So I think of anybody, those are the 3 most likely to do it.
Yeah, I would say that's fair. And then like I'll jump to the other end of the spectrum here, right? And so it'll be interesting to see which 8 teams qualify, but in my mind, there's kind of 4 teams that I think will be like, I think they're, almost a lock to be eliminated from Swiss contention in this group. And I'll say the teams that I think. I want to hear what you guys think. If you think I'm off base, if you think that that's fair or what. So I think that unfortunately Limitless, Valiant, Gaming Gladiators, and Elevate will be, will be eliminated. I think that's kind of not like a lock, but I think that I'm pretty certain that's going to be their outcome.
All right. So if I heard correctly, you said Elevate, Limitless, Valiant, and Gladiators?
Yes.
Agreed. The unfortunate thing is that I agree with Complexity and I agree with G2 that they picked the right 2 teams to just start off this Swiss easily, right? They're untested, they're a new region, and generally these newer regions and these minor regions, especially like SSA and APAC, they're not as honed in yet, right? They're still pretty immature in their, I don't know, esports programs.
Yeah,
I guess
they're not as developed of a region.
Yeah.
In terms of
I would love.
in terms of like support and stuff, not as like, players, because they're still phenomenal players, but like
they're still the best in the world, but like, I mean, the best in the world, it's not just a player, right? You have an entire franchise behind them. There's a reason why the teams you keep seeing up there are the teams that end up having the most resources because they've already been winning, But yeah, it's more than just, are these players good? Because I don't think there's any denying that.
Yeah, and I mean, part of it too has got to be like region support, right? So like in NA and EU, you have the best servers, right? And like if you're a bubble player, or if you're somebody that's like trying to grind and try and make your way into the RLCS, right? Like you're good enough talent for pro players to play against, right? So like, and there's just so many more teams that come out of like NA and EU, and so there's more, like, no matter who you're playing, you're still playing extremely high level talent. Whereas, in like an APAC or like an SSA or even an OCE to some extent, right? Like they're kind of isolated in terms of the servers, in terms of the like access to player base, or to like, fully developed regions where, there's an abundance of talent really. And so I just, while I think it'll be good experience, I think that we may see Like they may take a couple games where people weren't expecting them to, but I think that those 4 are pretty much a lock to be eliminated.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like just simple math for me, right? Because if you're an NA and you're on one of these teams and you're here from an NA team, you are one of the best 3 players or best 3 players out of 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 people. And I'm just making these numbers off the top of my head. But if you're coming from SSA or APAC or Oceania, you're one of the best 3 or 4 players of 30,000 people at most. When the pool is deeper, the people that make it to the top have to be that much better. And I think it's really just that.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
3-0 to get out of the wild card, right?
Yes.
So which teams make 3-0?
I'm going Moist and Complexity.
I think that's what I would go with too.
I think Moist drops one. I don't think so. Actually, I don't even know if I have them in my prediction, but I think Crew actually 3-0s out. I think Crew and Complexity.
Okay.
Making another bet on this one?
Yeah, no, I'm not
No,
going to
Crew let
pay
you down last
shipping
time.
to send you a beer.
Yeah.
You know, hot take. I wouldn't be. I have them on my list to go through, which we'll talk about in a second. But I also would not be surprised to see like Space Station Gaming Navi make it out Swiss, right?
Not
I have
even
a
make it out,
feeling
you said?
not even make it out of the wild card. I just
No
have a
shot.
feeling we're
They're
gonna see
making it
some
out.
sort of. All right. I mean they're gonna win against Twisted Minds, but how do we determine who they play up against next? Right? It's just based on uh record.
Yeah, winners play
I feel like
winners,
we need to
losers.
go back and say, are they gonna definitely win against Twisted Minds?
I'd say yes. If it was Falcons, I'd have a bit more questions. But
So
I
Space
think.
Station's first match is against Team Secret.
Oh yeah, I was looking at the wrong thing. Oh, I don't know about that. Secret's pretty tough sometimes because.
I think SSG beats Secret though.
But Sam's a
I
3-team
think
region. It's not just.
Crew and
doesn't mean the 3 teams aren't insane.
Fair.
I don't know.
I mean, Mina's a
SSG also
3-team region,
has.
basically, right?
SSG also does SSG things. Be real. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love SSG and everything like that, but they disappoint way too often.
I think they drop one game and they finish 3-1.
Okay. Who do they drop it against?
It depends on like goal differential and stuff to who they play, but I'll say one of G2 or Moist.
Okay. I can see that. All right. We're not we're recording any of this, but we're not like writing it down, so we can't hold you against it. Wait, why is it when Kyle makes predictions, AJ doesn't go, you want to bet? But if I do, he's just like free beer.
To be fair, I only did it because it was Crew.
And
Crew
I
let
think
you
you
down
slept
last
on
time.
Crew. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Maybe I just don't learn my lessons.
Well, but, like Crew looked
that.
so good in San Diego, so like I understand the sentiment.
Yeah.
So,
They did.
but yeah, so we talked about it a little bit. World's Wildcard starts Wednesday morning. We get our round 1 matches on Wednesday, and the World's Wildcard will go from the 3rd to the 6th. So it'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So not Wednesday, I'm sorry, it's Thursday. So we will see what happens, but with that, let's jump into our predictions here. Ace, you wanna go first?
Absolutely. So here are my predictions. Here are the 8 that are going across. We got Moist, Complexity, G2, SSG, Falcon, Crew, Oxygen, and Pioneer.
Okay. AJ is recording remote with us today, and his predictions are Moist, Complexity, G2, Space Station, Falcons, G1, Crew, and Twisted Minds. And mine are also Moist, also Complexity, also G2, also SSG, also Falcons, but I have Crew, oxygen, and power. So
So for those keeping track, me and Kyle disagree only on power versus Pioneer.
Yep. And AJ has G1 over oxygen and Twisted Minds over OCE. But it seems like for the most part, the three of us have Moist, Complexity, G2, Space Station, and Crew and Falcons all together here. So it looks like, we have 5 up at the top, we have 4 down at the bottom, and that leaves 5 teams fighting over 3 spots. Basically, is what we've kind of come down to, right? With like Team Secret, G1, Oxygen, Falcons, Twisted Minds. So AJ again has G1 and Twisted Minds coming out of that. I have Oxygen and Power, and Ace has Oxygen and Pioneers. So a lot to play for, a lot to be excited about as we, we're right around the corner from another World Championship, and our first time covering the World Championships as a podcast, as we formed pretty much at the last Worlds. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Me too. It's going to be a full circle pretty soon. We'll be 1 year in, practically experts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not mention it before, but we've also passed over. I should have said something about it during the episode, but we have surpassed 50 episodes, which is kind of crazy to think about.
50 was the last one, wasn't it?
50 was the Spring Major recap. Our talk with apparently Kat was 51, so this will be episode number 52, which is crazy to think about.
Rookie numbers.
Crazy.
That moment we hit 100.
We're gonna be at 100 before we know it.
No kidding.
Oops.
Question for you: if we start releasing content on other platforms, movies, no, YouTube videos, TikToks, do we count those, or is it just specific podcast episodes?
I feel like I gotta just count the podcast episodes, right? Because like that's where we started. So like even if we start releasing when we start releasing more content, it's just like additional stuff for people to enjoy.
Pretty soon it's gonna be the Boost Over Ball Media Empire.
Yeah, the media Boost Over Ball Media Group.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, we can have a cinematic universe. Let's start one.
Oh man. But
that would be hilarious.
It would certainly be, that would be something. But the next kind of segment we got going on in overtime, we'll take questions from our, from the fans, anybody who reaches out to us on the Discord or on Twitter, and from our Patreon subscriber, Hospitable. Her question is, what do you think is the funniest glitch that has happened in Rocket League? She was personally a big fan of the nameplate swapping glitch from 2020, causing so much confusion in comms. Do you guys kind of have anything off the brain that you thought was rather funny, or just a glitch that you've kind of encountered, something like that?
Something, but it's not really a glitch, and it's for reasons I won't get into. But it was when Nexto was taking over ranked. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so much fun. Yeah, we talked about that on the podcast. The AI takeover.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree
Karma,
with that.
right?
Yeah, with Karma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
Friend of the podcast.
And so, friend of the podcast, and I feel like just friend, right?
True.
Fair.
We watched this.
Facts,
We watched a
even.
long ass series of Rocket League together. I feel like we can call her that.
Probably longest ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally the longest match ever. Yeah.
So
Good job, us.
Yeah. But I have an answer, and then I have a follow-up question to that question. So mine's gotta be the humping bots, right? Like where they get stuck on the post and they just like continually drive at the post. I just think that's kind of funny. But I don't know if it's technically a glitch, but do the April Fool's pranks count as glitches?
I don't think they count as
It's
glitches
something
because
different.
they're designed.
Okay, that's fair.
I wouldn't say
A glitch
it
can't be
needs to be
designed.
specific to glitch.
That's fair.
I mean, I would argue.
Glitches can become features, though.
I was about to say, I would argue flip resets. That's a pretty
True.
good glitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An undesigned game mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
It was a glitch that caught on to a point where they couldn't do anything about it then. I mean, they could have, but that would have not been great.
I mean, they
for the
just
game.
chose not to.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It would have been the same
Unintended
game, though.
features.
Fair.
Just would have been played in a whole different way.
Yeah. But so then, that being said, do you have a favorite April Fool's moment that you remember?
Oh, the
Definitely the ranks.
changes. The changes on the quick comms this
The quick
last April
chats.
Fool's.
Oh,
Yeah,
that one
the-
was super fun.
The
too.
Rickroll. They Rickrolled everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they were
That was
so
good.
good. I was so sad when they flipped them back.
That's a good one. I really liked the changing of the rank icons.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The corn. What were they all? Potato.
Yeah.
Silver
League.
was onion.
Yeah, for April Fools it was gold was corn, platinum was broccoli, diamond was onion, champ
Wait, what was silver then?
grand champ was eggplant, champion was I don't
What was it?
man.
Beet.
Yeah. I think so. I don't remember off the top of my head, but that was a good one.
When the
onion. So it was potato, onion, corn, broccoli, radish, purple cabbage, and then grand eggplant.
Gotcha.
So potato was bronze, silver was onion, gold was corn, broccoli is platinum, radish is champ. No, bronze, silver, gold, plat. Diamond was radish. Purple cabbage is champ, and then before they had Supersonic Legend, it was Grand Eggplant as Grand Champ.
Dude, the this last year though, I was not paying enough attention, so I didn't even think about April Fools, and that Rocket League 2 video from Lethamir got me so hard. I was like, what in the actual is happening right now? And it took me, way too long to realize it was a joke. But yeah.
Some people, the timing is really good. They a couple people get you baited, and then you're like, oh nope, it's April 1st. But
Was it you that posted in the Sharks Discord? Like, oh my god, it's happening.
I think he did.
That's what I thought. That was funny.
Yeah. But with that's all we got for this episode for today. We will be back at you next week with a recap on the Swiss stage, our predictions, thoughts, and everything in between for the group stage and the main event for the World Championships. So hopefully everyone is able to catch the matches this weekend. From us here at the Boost Over Ball podcast, thank you so much for listening. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, join our Discord, rate us wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out, we got some YouTube videos coming soon. Twitch, we started live streaming. Our TikTok is we're starting to post more videos. We got a photo album scrolling through on our website now, but you can check out all those links and check out those photos and more at our website at boostoverball.com. And from us on the show, from everyone's favorite Grand Plats, from the podcasting experts, please remember to always choose Boost over Ball.
Thank you for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website, www.boostoverball.com, and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts.